Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable pop-up event at BG Products in Wichita, Kansas. I'm here with Shawn Butler. Shawn, welcome to the pop-up.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a joy to be here. I'm sorry that Ted couldn't be with us, but I'm glad to have you.
Well, Shawn, we've known each other for a while, but tell everybody, how did you get into the auto service industry?
I actually worked on cars from age 19 to 30. I used to do, what they call vendor work. I did paintless dent removal and painted bumpers for different dealerships. And then I got out of the business and went into manufacturing, got to travel the whole world. That situation changed, kind of searching for what to do. And somebody said, well, why don't you be a service advisor? I was like, service advisor? What's that? And I hit the ground running and took off and, never looked back. That was in 2007.
And what do you do today, Shawn?
I am a fixed operations director for parts and service for Yamansky Auto Group out of Memphis, Tennessee. I'm with the stores in East Tennessee in the Tri-Cities area.
Well, Shawn, you are such a passionate voice in this industry. What drives your enthusiasm for it?
I like to see people win. Nothing makes my heart happier than seeing somebody that came in the door and they didn't have any direction. They didn't know what they wanted to do with their life. And a year later, they're buying their first house, or I'm sending them to school. And 5 years later, they're married, they got kids, they're buying new cars, they're becoming master techs. Just watching other people succeed is truly my passion. If you do the right things by others, and if I found out that if I help others succeed and get what they want, I get what I want naturally.
Well, there's been a lot of changes in the automotive industry in the last few years. So what do you feel are going to be some of the biggest challenges for the industry in the future?
Well, I believe, the hype about the EV thing, I'm not into it. Just to be honest with you, I believe hybrids are going to be bigger, and I think that they'll switch. As soon as everybody has to force to buy $1 million worth of equipment for EV stuff, they'll switch to something else like hydrogen or something. So I believe that's going to be the biggest challenge for dealerships, is how to navigate those waters as the industry overall is changing.
Well, and that is a great point, because so much technology is changing, and there's a lot of innovation on the horizon as software and all other kinds of means continue to make strides in automotive. If going back and reflecting a little bit on your career, if there's one thing that you could change about your life or the trajectory you chose, what would it be?
Honestly, I would have been less selfish earlier, right? Because everything changed for me when I started putting others first. When I used to put myself first and was always only looking out for number one, as they say, sometimes it was great, sometimes it wasn't. A lot of highs and lows. Nowadays, with putting other people first, every day's a win.
Wow. And in that same vein, as you reflect on your career path and how you got into the industry, there's a lot of people out there that are considering automotive as a future and a career. What do you think about automotive? Is it worth pursuing this as a career?
Well, I think it's absolutely one of the best careers you can get into, because it's never the same. You're always learning, you're always progressing, you're always moving forward. So let's take a fella, if they go get a 2-year degree from a technical school, right? Or lady. I have 3 female technicians at the Honda shop, and all of them came to me off the street. 2 of them have 2-year degrees at the technical school, and the other one just wanted to do it. But those people are eligible 5-10 years down the road. If they stick with their career, they're making well into the 6 figures. I have multiple techs that are making well into 6 figures, and they got a high school degree. They're just nice people who put their nose to the grindstone.
And that's just such a testament of how much you can grow in this industry and what opportunities really await. To pivot the conversation a little bit, so you've had some recent health challenges, and I know you've been a big advocate for talking about your condition, and I'd just love to have you say a few words, talk about your recent health challenge, how it's affected your life personally and professionally.
Sure. About 6 months ago, I started having some health issues, and being a guy, I was like, oh, it'll get better. And then I'm starting to take, handfuls of Aleve for this pain I was having, and I was hiding it from my wife like a real dummy. She's a nurse, so You know how that goes. And one weekend, she finally caught me up and said, why are you up walking around at 3 o'clock in the morning? And I told her about the pain I was having. So we go to the ER. They do CT scans. They do all this. It turns out I have a 4-inch tumor, and all my lymph nodes are like the size of like grapes. And you're supposed to be pretty much, you can't see them.
Wow.
So yeah, that was a tough day for them to walk in and go, hey, you got cancer. You're going to need to see all of these specialists. No.
Well, and and it's just such a testament to the journey and being that vulnerable in the automotive space. And you touched on a point, and I think it is incredible to see the amount of care that has come from people in automotive in the industry. And of course, Ted Ings and his own personal battle with cancer himself, and the Fixed Ops Cares program that he's put together for charitable contributions to help people such as yourself that are going through this health battle. If you could say one thing about some of the stigma or some of the challenges that people might be hesitant to seek out a diagnosis, what advice would you give them?
Sure. Well, personally, like when it affected my personal life because of the home life, and all of a sudden everything changes, right? Yeah, you're wholly focused on trying to get better. If you Google the type of cancer that they labeled me with, it's not good, right? There's 30-something% chance that we're having this conversation next year. I consider it's 100% chance because I'm still here, right? We're going to be fighting this out. But what I really want to get the message across is don't be like me, right? Be proactive, get yourself checked regularly, do the colonoscopy, do the blood test. You know your body. If you don't feel right, go get checked out. Don't put yourself in a situation where if you'd have done something 6 months or a year earlier, it's no problem. When you're speaking of the stigma, right? So I have colorectal cancer, and I can't even pronounce the long name that they gave it to. Something ends in carcinoma, and so people don't want to talk about it. Guys will hide it and stuff like that. If we're not out front and if we're not putting it out there to make people aware, and then when it comes to support, once you do find out, there's a ton of support out there that we don't even know about until obviously you get hit with something like this and you have to go, oh my Lord, what am I going to do? So Ted came right away. Me and him have been friends for like 5 years now. And as soon as I told him, he was like, oh my God, Shawn, I got to do something to get behind you. And he has the fixedopscares.org website. And so he directed that right away towards helping with me, because in today's world, you have your insurances, which I have good insurance, and all of these things, but it doesn't cover everything. The insurance might negotiate a $10,000 deal on an MRI or a PET scan, and the bill's 12 or 13. Guess who gets to pay the other 2 or 3, right? And unless you're independently wealthy, you can't be prepared for a battle like this, and heaven forbid, if I'm not here next year, I don't want my wife to be saddled with $100,000 worth of medical bills. You got life insurance and all that, but you really want to take away from her and my 6-year-old to pay out medical bills? Absolutely not. So you have to find ways to reach out and get support. And from the bottom of my heart, everybody who has helped and contributed, whether it be by messages, by prayers, put me on prayer list, donating. Oh my gosh, it's just been unbelievable. I have been contacted by literally thousands of people in the last 3 weeks since this came out, since Ted took it, to the airwaves, so to speak. And I'm blessed to know people like yourself. We go back like 7 or 8 years now. This in Ted's 5 years, and I have a lot of people that support me any way that they can, and all of it is well.
Well, and as a reminder to our viewers today, please check out Shawn Butler's fundraiser that we have on the Fixed Ops Roundtable website. You'll find that information to donate directly to that there. And Shawn, I just want to say thank you again for sharing your story, sharing your journey, and then also bringing and shining a light on cancer and really the importance of early screening and prevention. So everybody, Shawn Butler here on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine. Please stay tuned. We got more coming up on the Fixed Ops Roundtable pop-up event at BG Products.